This is Laura Boosinger, and I just met her yesterday, but I've known that name for years. And when you introduced yourself, it was like, oh my goodness. Here is not only Laura Boosinger, this is the queen of the Clawhammer Banjo.
That might be an overstatement, but it was kind of Tim Barnwell to say that.
Is that where that came from?
Yes.
I know of Tim Barnwell.
Yes, he's a great documentary photographer, and we've been buddies for a long time.
And so. you have played with a lot of famous people, and you are famous, of course. You are professional. And so you're here today at the Earl Scruggs Festival in what capacity? I
was emceeing a little bit yesterday for a session that the Blue Ridge Music Trails put on called Fine Tuned, which paired seasoned musicians with up-and-coming musicians. We created an LP last year, so I emceed that set. I sat in with my alma mater's bluegrass band, which was kind of fun since I don't play bluegrass. And I'm here representing the music trails and just kind of shucking and howdying with all the folks because I know a lot of people that are here. And
so you said your alma mater, would that be Warren Wilson?
Yes, at Warren Wilson.
And that's where you met David Holt.
Warren Wilson, David Holt started the very first program of traditional music in any school in the country. And about halfway through my college years, I made up my major in traditional music. So I basically tell people I have a major in old-time banjo.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and as I tell audiences, my brother majored in computer science. He hasn't had a job in 20 years. I've always had a job.
So have you made a living as a performer?
For many years, yes. And I just finished a job as an Arts Council administrator for 15 years where I presented a lot of traditional music. I had a junior Appalachian musicians program which had between 60 and 70 kids and various other things. But yes, all the time during all of that, I've been playing music, and I've been a consultant with the Blue Ridge Music Trails for about 12, 15 years. I can't remember, 12 maybe is right. Okay.
So you said you're not a bluegrass player.
No.
So what kind of music then would you call what you play?
Well, I play old-time banjo, which you don't generally find in a bluegrass band, but as we told the folks yesterday, Bill Monroe's first banjo player was String Bean. And he played clawhammer banjo. And once in a while, Ralph Stanley would play. He learned from his mom. Jens Kruger, of course, plays bluegrass and clawhammer spectacularly, as does Steve Martin. But it's a rare thing to find a bluegrass player that also plays clawhammer. I played one time when Earl Scruggs was in the room, and when I got done playing, he said, I never could do that.
Wow, you've known everybody. That's cool. So clawhammer, you don't play with picks.
I don't play with picks. You make your hand literally look like a claw, and you hammer the strings with your pointer fingernail. Most people use their pointer, and your thumb catches this little drone string. It's really what they say folks did from Africa.
So are you getting your tune from your left hand and the right hand?
Well, you note, just like on any stringed instrument, you note with your left hand, and you hit that string that you're noting on with your right hand. Although there is a style in Madison County, Josh Goforth can do it, where this banjo player, Jerry Adams, always got the notes by pulling off and hammering on with this hand, and he never hit the string he was manipulating over here. He hit different strings, and I don't even know how a man does that.
Can you play with picks?
No, but I do some finger picking things. I play a little 2-finger mountain style. It sounds like this. So this is a 2-finger style that I learned kind of on my own, but heard lots of people do it. Say that you'll be mine. Hug me and kiss me. Love me all the time. Love me all the time. Love me all the time. Well, I wish I was an apple hanging on a tree. Every time my Dinah passed, she'd take a bite of me. Take a bite of me. Take a bite of me. Well, it's raining, it's pouring, the sky is falling falling down. If Dinah goes back on me, well, I will surely drown. I will surely drown. I will surely drown. Dinah, Dinah, say that you'll be mine. Hug me and kiss me, love me all the time. Love me all the time. Love me all the time.
Oh my goodness. Sadly, we're the only two in the audience because we pulled over in this nice quiet spot. But if you were on stage, Laura, they would be standing up.
Oh, thank you.
If someone was brand new, wanted to play the banjo, in your mind, which is harder to learn, clawhammer or the three-finger picking
Everybody that learns either one of the styles pretty much says the other one's impossible for them.
style? I would think so.
For me, the three-finger, how I understand it, is the downbeat, the one beat, is always on a different finger, and that just blows my mind. But with this, you know, the downbeat is, the melody's here. And then you speed it up a little and you drop your thumb and you get this.
Wow.
A few extra little notes in there.
Are the banjos the same? I mean, the same width
Pretty
of the
much.
fretboard and all that?
They set the bridges up differently. I don't understand any of that because I'm not technical. Bluegrass banjos have an external resonator. This banjo has an internal resonator, but I don't really think it does anything. My banjo was custom made for me. It has 2 tone rings in it, so it sounds a little different than some of the other banjos. I played in a swing band for a long time, guys that learned to play music in the late 20s when they were teenagers. And they learned lots of stuff off the radio, and they played a lot of things that were pop tunes of the day, like Sweet Georgia Brown or Darktown Strutter's Ball, that kind of stuff. And then we played Glenn Miller, and we played Bob Wills, and we played Soldier's Joy and Cackling Hen. So the material was all over the place. So when I played with them, I played in an open G tuning and chorded up here, up on the neck, kind of between here and here. And this banjo made a nice bell-like sound for that, and I did a little strumming style that was kind of swingy.
Did you play before college?
I started taking piano lessons when I was 6. You'll like this story. The preacher's wife called my mama and said, "When is Laura starting her piano lessons?" And my mother said, "We don't have a piano," but we got one. So I always had a good ear, and I took piano lessons for a few years, and then when I was in 8th grade, I started taking guitar when I was 12. But it wasn't really till I came to Warren Wilson that I learned about any of this kind of music, because I didn't live in North Carolina until I was 17. And then I found out you could take banjo lessons for college credit. I didn't know any kind of banjo styles. I didn't know about Dixieland. I didn't know about bluegrass or old time. I didn't know anything. I just knew I could take banjo lessons, and I thought, well, I think I want to do that. And of course, the way Clawhammer Banjo sounds to me is so mellow and so just warm that I really wanted to learn that. I really like the way it sounded. I like to play in modal tunings. I like it to sound ancient. I like it to be warm. I'm really a singer. I mean, I played in a lot of square dance bands and that kind of stuff, and have played banjo. You know, I played in David Holt's band, but I mostly was the rhythm guitar player.
This is a band called the
Lightning Bolt.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, at Warren Wilson, I mean, you started to take the banjo there.
Banjo, ballad singing, harmony singing, the history of country music, religion in Appalachia, square dance calling, all kinds of little courses that David Holt was teaching so I could learn. He brought musicians in from the community. So my harmony singing teacher was Gary and Bonnie Burnett, who were local singers, and the guitar teacher was Bucky Hanks, and Liz and Lynn Shaw from over in Canton taught fiddle. And then I sat around with the ballad singers from Sodom Laurel out in Madison County. And he'd also put on concerts of different instrument styles and band styles. So one night it was all kinds of gospel music. One night it was all kinds of string band sounds. You know, one night it featured the banjo. So you didn't just hear one style, you heard a lot of styles. And of course, that was the first time I ever saw a clogging team too, was at Warren Wilson, and I was blown away with that and got into square dancing. And I taught residencies for a long time in schools all over the Southeast, where I would teach kids folk dances depending upon their age. Some were play party games for little kids, and then I would bring a bunch of instruments and show them the instruments, and it, you know, or things like the Virginia Reel or Big Circle Mountain square dances, you know, just different things that kids weren't really getting anymore. And it always excited me. On the first day, I would try to tell, you know, 4th and 5th graders we were going to play games with music, because they didn't really like the idea of dancing. And by Wednesday, they didn't want to hear any more instruments. They wanted to know when they were going to get to dance. So that was very gratifying. And it's a real community exercise that happens all over Western North Carolina. There's street dances in various communities where you can get the opportunity. And as Glenn Bannerman used to say, who taught me a lot about recreation and dance, and he taught me a lot about how to be an MC, he said, all you need to know how to do is come in here and walk. Because people will see a clogging team and they know they can't do that footwork, but they don't realize that they can join hands in a great big circle and dance with the people in their community. And it's joyful to watch them do it.
It is. There used to be a one in Polk County on a regular basis. I don't know if they still have that or not. So you got a degree in some sort of...
I made up my music major. The head of the music department actually asked me why I wasn't doing this. And I said, well, there's no degree. And he said, well, let's make you up one. So I basically was a music major with a concentration in Appalachian music and studies before anybody else did that. Now there's programs at ETSU and Morehead State and down in Texas, and Warren Wilson even has a major now in Appalachian music, but that didn't exist back in the 70s when I did it. You know?
Have you done any teaching for them?
I've taught at the Swananoa Gathering, and I go out there and sometimes sit in on a class where students talk to somebody who's in a certain profession and ask you questions about your profession, because I wasn't just an arts administrator. I wasn't just a banjo player. I do a podcast for the Blue Ridge Music Trails. I always feel like, because I wasn't born in this tradition, I feel it's important for me to sort of step gently on that, because, you know, in Western North Carolina, if you're not here for 4, 5, or 6 generations, you're not from here. And I joke that I'm still working on getting my green card. But I also think that I'm a good communicator, especially from people who don't have any idea about our music, who think it's hee-haw or the Beverly Hillbillies, or, you know, I can't tell you how many conventions I've done to play a square dance or a show, and the red and white gingham tablecloths are there, and the barbecue and the hay bales. And that's not, it's about that too, but that's not all it's about, you know.
Well, can you take us out on another tune, your favorite, or whichever one you think would be good closing music?
I'll play one from Bascom Lunsford that he collected over in Jackson County. It's called Go Into Italy. Bascom started the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival in 1928 in Asheville. It's the oldest continuing festival in America. We just celebrated 97 years. And I always wondered why people in Jackson County, North Carolina were singing about going to Italy, because they weren't even coming to Asheville. But here's the one he collected. Shines like glittering gold. I'm going to get that gal of mine before she gets too old. I'm going to Italy for long, for long, for long. Going to Italy for long to see that gal of mine. Well, yonder comes my own true love. How do you reckon I know? I can tell her by her apron strings hanging down slow. I'm going to Italy for long, for long, for long. Going to Italy for long to see that gal of mine. Well, her eyes are like the diamonds, her cheeks are like the rose, and her lips are like the lily that in the morning grow. I'm going to Italy for long, for long, for long. Going to Italy for long to see that gal of mine. Well, some come here to fiddle and dance, some come here to tarry, some come here to fiddle and dance, but I came here to marry. Going to Italy for long, for long, for long. Going to Italy for long to see that gal of mine. Yes, I'm going to Italy for long, for long, for long. Going to Italy for long to see that gal of mine. Italy, which is actually a little community in Jackson County, right over the ridge from Canada.
I did not. From Canada. Now you got me really confused. Laura, this was fantastic.
Good.
Thank you so
You
much.
betcha.
I could listen to that all day.
I know.
I never
could
thought of the
too.
banjo as a soloist instrument. When you add your vocals in that, I could sit here.
Oh, there's a lot of people who played solo banjo and sang. Ola Belle Reed, Sheila K. Adams. Aunt Samantha Bumgarner was the first person to record on the banjo in 1924 in New York City, and she was from Jackson County.
The real Jackson County in North Carolina.
Yeah, where
Okay.
Western Carolina is. Yes, sir. There's a lot of people played solo banjo, women. Buell Kazee, I was just reading about him this week.
Allison Brown, she was here once, I think.
Yeah, but
she's
she
a
usually
different
plays
style.
with a band. I
Yeah.
don't think she ever does solo stuff.
No, I don't
but
think
it's
so.
a lot of times people thought the banjo was a woman's instrument.
Really?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. There's been a couple of fellers come along like
Yeah.
Bela
But you are
Fleck
the
and
queen of Clawhammer.
well, I would never
Banjo.
hold tight to that title.
I do.
Because I know a lot of
make you
queens of Clawhammer Banjo. But
Queen
there's
extraordinaire.
there's a 16-year-old coming along who's going to swiftly take my heels out from under me. Her name is Bela Davis, and she's from Leicester, North Carolina, and she's remarkable.
Really.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
There you go.
That Laura's
Check her
gonna
out.
be here. Did you ever think you would be making a living doing this type of work?
You know, I never thought I would, and the day when I was 21 and David Holt said, yeah, you could be a B-level performer, I was blown away. And I've had
B-level.
great fortune to do a lot with my music, and it's really makes me happy that I could share it, because I love this music. I love the people I learned it from as much as anything.
Play another tune as we head out of here. Laura Boosinger, queen of the Clawhammer Banjo, singer, instrumentalist, and interpreter of the music of the Southern Mountains.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.